Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
This episode of Rooster Radio is brought to you by Viva Techie. Viva Techie is ready to serve you fresh, delicious Mexican street food at its finest. With selections like street-style tacos, burritos, Mexican bowls, quesadillas, and more, Viva Techie will fulfill your Mexican food needs. So next time you're craving Mexican food, come on to downtown Gastonia and check out Viva Techie. They're at 238 West Main Avenue, and when you get there, tell Francisco that the Rooster sent you.
The atmosphere. I mean, normally it's just dirt and dust and debris, but man, it was awful fucking big the other day. It's bigger than it usually is.
Yeah, I haven't done any kind of research or looked into it at all. I don't know anything about it. All I know is there was people saying some Chinese balloon, and when I heard that, I was like, that's bullshit. There's no way a Chinese balloon made it all the way across the continental United States of America. So what's really happening?
That's pretty messed up.
I don't know. I'm so glad I've stopped watching the news. I used to be a news junkie, man. I used to watch like Fox News and CNN and shit all the time, and I'm just so glad I don't anymore. I'm so much more relaxed. I'm so less stressed. Like once you unplug from all that stuff, you start to realize it's on purpose. It's like it's just this constant, you're being berated nonstop, 24 hours a day with this is what you need to be alarmed about, and none of it really fucking matters, man.
Well, I mean, that's just, I think about like the pumping of, it's fear that's being pumped. Like most of the shit that you see on the news never really happens to most people. They just kind of like prepare for bullshit that never happened. Like.
I mean, every 5 years, milk's giving you cancer, and then it's something else. Like, it's like they pull these crazy stories. It's the same thing with like your local paper. You know, the local paper will do stories on, bird watching cameras, attorney's bird watching cam. Meanwhile, you've got like some really cool stuff going on around town, and no one hears a peep about it. Yeah, evidently, good news doesn't sell. You turn on the TV to look for. I even stopped watching local news. I used to watch for the weather. I want to keep up with the weather. I just scrapped it and put the app on my phone, and I'm just look on my phone.
You just
for
risk
weather.
it all now, huh?
No, I just use the weather app.
Pretty dry day today. Sanu. Tsunami.
I don't know, man. Just unplugging from the machine, man. The constant rat race, the constant trying to keep up, and I don't know. I guess when it all started when I had this idea, when I decided I was going to do this and open this place, I kind of just shifted all of my attention and all of my energy into that. And even though it took 4 years to get this place open, I'm in such a happier place mentally now because I'm not even paying attention to what all's going on. If it's important enough, I'll find out. Somebody's going to tell me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just give information just kind of get to you somehow.
Yeah.
Like I don't have cable. We cut cable off a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't watch really anything on TV for the most part. Here and there, like I just don't have time just to sit down for an hour to watch something. So I just I see stuff in spurts. So or like if I'm social media, I'll see stuff. Just all right, I need to make a video about this or something. But
there's like a handful of shows that I'll keep up with, and I just finished the last season of Walking Dead. And I kept up with that. A lot of people gave up on Walking Dead after the Negan years, but there was a couple of down seasons, but it got good again, and I think they wrapped it up pretty nicely.
Okay,
yeah, that was a good one.
For me. I'm like,
I quit at season 9 because when I had Netflix, that was the latest latest season on Netflix.
Ain't that shit
And then I
there?
lost Netflix for like 2 years, and they're just now putting season 10 on Netflix. So
Ain't that something? Now we can't share passwords, so I was just about to give you my password, but so sorry, man.
Look, I'm getting married to somebody with Netflix. That's the key.
This man, he looking out for his future.
That's right.
You know how many $10 you gonna?
Netflix,
Wait, it's more than that now.
Disney Plus, Hulu. Jeez, I can watch more than just YouTube now.
It's a regular cable bill now, though.
Man, we scrapped. I live out in the country, so we had satellite. Yeah, I scrapped satellite years ago, man. We've been doing streaming apps for a while now. We still pay for we pay for Netflix, for Discovery, pay for Discovery Plus.
I about to say you got to do your satellite, but you.
My wife loves that stuff. Like anytime I could, I get home late at night right now, and my wife will be in bed, and the TV will still be running. It's always some murder shit. Like it's always. He was such a nice guy. He was a deacon at the church. Every night I come home and I'm hearing some wild story about some crazy person killing people.
Surprising like that. There's quite a few people that go to sleep who listen to death and murder.
The excuse is, well, I'm just trying to learn in case I ever have to get in that kind of situation. Why do you think I watch porn?
Hey, good one.
What happens if I ever get in a situation like that? I'd like to know what the fuck I'm doing.
And most of these porns, you never get in that situation. Nobody just shows up with pizza.
None of that's real.
Hey, Big Daddy.
Well, you gotta be prepared.
I think we need to give BDJ a mic for this show. He's talkative today. I mean, I do. It's dumb, but I fall asleep to SVU a lot of times. Law and Order SVU. I made it all the way to like the more recent years. Like I noticed there was a shift around, I don't know, season 16 or so. Like they started getting real political with it, and that'll turn me off a show so quick when they start dropping that political wokeness and all this other stuff that people are talking about now, and it's so obvious. It's like sitcoms these days, right? Sitcoms are trash now, man. There's this what do you call it? Like a blueprint for how to make a sitcom now, and it's terrible. It's let's put 4 different races together in a situation. Let's make the white guy dumb and goofy. We gotta have somebody that's either gay or trans, and it's like there's this formula that they've got now for sitcoms, and it's so forced. Where what made shows funny like Seinfeld. Seinfeld was one of the funniest sitcoms there ever was. What made that show funny was there was not a single episode that you couldn't find yourself in that situation. You know what I mean? It was all situational, set up. This is everyday stuff that happens. King of Queens was like that.
I like King of Queens. I never really got into Seinfeld. I never really watched that.
Oh,
King of Queens, yes, I watched that.
I like sitcoms myself. I agree. I think the issue with sitcoms now is that they try to avoid the stereotypes, but the stereotypes are kind of what made it funny.
Yes.
It was part of comedy.
Yes, exactly.
I'm of the belief if you can't laugh at yourself, then you just kind of live a sad life.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's so offended by everything. I mean, I think that's I don't know. As a comedian, I'm often around comics, and comics are weird, so I get a chance to see both sides from. People just say fucked up shit. Me being one of them. But I know how to clean it up for the people that want to clean. I know how to dirty it up for the people that want to dirty it.
I think a lot of the issue that we're talking about, I think a lot of it stems from us not having any more real problems. As a society, as a whole.
You living a good life.
No, all right.
You watching the news?
Yeah, I'm not watching the news. There you go. No, it's we've kind of made it to a point where we have so many comforts. We're not living in a time just 150 years ago.
You see, they ain't got enough shit to do.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? People were spitting out kids so they had people to man the farm, so they could feed themselves. And now everything is so accessible for the most part. And I think that's part of why we're at this point in I hate using the word zeitgeist, but it's kind of where we're at.
What's that?
Zeitgeist.
I don't know what that is, man.
Just culture. Where our American culture is now is things have gotten so easy for us. We've run out of real problems, so now we're gonna make shit up and we're gonna be angry about it and we're gonna protest and we're gonna do this and that, and it's like, I look at, there's still people that are homeless. Like, let's solve that problem before we start solving, before we start, changing. I'm not going to go there. Fuck it. Speaking of funny, we're talking to comedian Ray Money today on the show. Say, Ray, introduce yourself. Tell our friends and our family and our fans who you are.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is comedian Ray Money. From Troy, Alabama. I don't know what else to tell you, man. I'm just a regular dude. I just tell jokes. That's pretty much it.
Well, Ray's a funny guy, and Ray is the host and the producer of the comedy night in Gastonia at the Rooster. It's the fourth Thursday of every month. We had our first show last week. It went really well. So we bring in tables and chairs, so it reduces our capacity. So we can only fit 60 people in here when we bring in tables and chairs. And we sold 50 tickets to our very first comedy show. He brought in Joy Wills, who's a comedian out of Charlotte. Todd Riley, I believe, is from Illinois. Is that right?
Ohio.
Yeah. And they were both hilarious. Our very own Cody with a K opened the show with a nice little 5-minute set. And it went over so well. We're going to keep doing it. And that's why we're talking to Ray today. So first of all, thank you for bringing the show to the Rooster.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me, man. I was surprised when you hit me up, so I was like, all right, let's do it, man.
Well, that's a cool story. I actually didn't meet Ray. I saw Ray perform at the Comedy Zone. My wife and I went to a show, and I think it was Charlie Murphy. I could be wrong about that. And Ray was an opener at the Comedy Zone for that show. And I thought it was really funny, so I followed him on social media. And I've been following you that's been a few years ago. Yeah. So I've been following this whole time, and we had just opened up. Like, we were right about to open, and I saw Ray post something about doing comedy in Kings Mountain. Mm-hmm. And just the light bulb went off in my head, and I immediately went and messaged you on Facebook. And I was like, hey, what do I got to do to get you at the Rooster? And then Ray came with his lovely wife and his child, and we had what was a 2-hour conversation about living our dreams and swinging for the fences and all that, and now we have this comedy show. But there's a lot more going on. Talk about what you got going on, because you made a huge move this year in 2023. Man. Tell them what you did.
Oh man, I've been making huge moves, man. Pretty much my whole life and career here. Well, I guess the biggest one has been at the beginning of 2023. I left my banking job of 17 years at Wells Fargo. I was a corporate banker. I was an officer in the corporate healthcare sector, and decided to leave. Just jump out there, man. Chase the dream, man.
Yeah, don't downplay it. That's a cushy job. That's
it's a lot of stress. I guess I don't know if it's I can't say that. My perspective is different. I've been so involved I've been doing this part-time for almost 10 years in stand-up, and I've always been just chipping away at it, even with being in the banking. So it's been a lot of 24-hour nights, like 24-hour days, let's just say, driving. But, I mean, this year I decided, it was like, all right, I'm going to make the plunge, man, make the jump.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. What made you decide to pull the trigger? How did you get started? Did you just show up to an open mic at the Comedy Zone? Like, what got you started?
Yeah, actually, but it wasn't the main Comedy Zone in Charlotte. There used to be a small comedy club in, Fort Mill, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Used to be a small little, the Comedy Zone had a small little club there.
Yeah.
They would do like monthly shows at. And I just happened to go to one of the open mics, and I was like, all right, I'll see what it's like. I was just going to watch. And then at the time, it was just another comic, Chris Corrado. He was the host or doing a sign-up list or running this mic or something of that nature. And he was like, hey, did you want to go up? Because I was just standing around. I guess he thought I looked like a comic. Maybe
you had that look in your eye, didn't you? He saw that look in your eye.
And at the time, there was a few comics that had already been on stage, and I was like, all right. I can't do that bad. So, and it wasn't that many people in there, you know. So I was like, sure. So he put my name on the list. And then right before I went up, it was probably like 2 people before me. There was a bar connected to it. So it was a bar, and then there was like this little event space that they turned into like a comedy spot. It let in about 30 people at the time. So in this little space, it was packed in there. Then I was like, oh man.
You thought you was going in front of a handful of people, and now you got a room full of people.
A room full of people, and I got laughs, and I mean, it wasn't in my head. I was like, oh yeah, I got a few laughs. I was like, okay, it wasn't that bad, so I got some laughs. You know, because most comics, they get to comparing themselves to the comics they went before them.
Yeah.
Over time, my idea about that has changed, but I got laughs, and they kept me coming back. I got the bug, and I haven't stopped since. I've been.
Do you remember what, like, the first joke you told that got the laugh? Like, what was it?
Oh,
If that was 10 years ago, you might not be able to tell me
wow!
anymore.
Actually, you know what? I never really thought about it. Let me think. What was the joke? I don't. It was something about a cashier. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. I've always been kind of. I don't really do politics or anything of that nature in my stand-up. I guess I could, but I don't watch TV enough to be involved.
Don't watch enough news?
To watch enough news to know. So, but yeah, that's pretty much been it. I don't remember. No, that's a very good question because I've never thought about even thinking. What was my first joke?
Well, you said something before the show. You said you try to write a minute a day.
Yeah.
So talk for a minute about how you went from showing up to an open mic. You're just hanging out. You're like, okay, let me try this. You do it. You catch the bug. And you said yourself you kind of did it part time for 10 years. So you kept at it. You kept chipping away at it. At some point, there must have been a shift in your perspective of how you approach it, and decided, okay, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to start writing. So how long did it take you to kind of get to that point, and what is the process like for you when it comes to writing jokes?
Ooh, okay. So to get to this point, I think I'm a little different than some of the other comedians that I've been around in most of the years. I've doing it 10 years. I've got a chance to work with a lot of big names, from Donna Rollins to T.J. Miller to Charlie Murphy. There's a whole list of them. But I guess my eye-opening point was I was supposed to open for Chris Rock when he was here in Charlotte. He ended up catching COVID, so it just kind of stopped my opportunity there to get it. But it opened my eyes that it was like to be asked to open for him. It opened my eyes to where I was actually in the actual comedy game. That, oh man, to be even asked.
So you were what, 6-7 years in, and then you get asked to open for Chris Rock. I mean, it sounds like not in an egotistical way, but it was like, oh, I'm the real deal, kind of.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should take this more serious.
Well, that was one piece. I've kind of took it serious for the entirety. But I wasn't as focused as I am now. That's been the biggest change for me, that I wasn't focused because I did have everything else, being a father, and husband, and full-time work, and then actually running the business side of the comedy. I do everything. Me and my wife do everything ourselves. I don't have an agent or anything of that nature. So it was the pandemic that opened my eyes to say, hey, let's get more serious about it.
Yeah.
And it also came from the ask about the Chris
Opening for
Rock.
Rock.
Yeah, because I've worked with a lot of big names, but I've never been even asked to.
That's one of the biggest.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, what's going on here?
Well, that's awesome, man. I think it's great, and you are still a regular at the Comedy Zone, right?
Yeah. I'm there pretty regularly.
And in addition to being a regular at the Comedy Zone, Ray does travel a lot. You've recently gotten onto the university and college circuit, right?
Yeah, I started that last year, so this is my second year in, and I've done quite a few schools.
Have you found that the material that you use in Charlotte, does it translate in places like Ohio or Nebraska or Alabama? Like, are you able, or do you find yourself struggling or bombing on stage in different geographical regions?
No, no. I think the type of comedy that I do, my comedy is like human based. So it's not really specific to a specific area. A lot, whether it's Alabama or New York, we still have all of us have so many different common experiences as humans, and things that we know just from maybe some movies, larger movies that we've watched. So I generally build my comedy off based on like an emotion, really. So the feeling that I have was like I may do a joke about being left. Someone's been left before, so the feeling about it is universal. So it doesn't matter what language you speak, doesn't matter your race. Someone's left you at some point.
Well, that's an interesting and an intelligent approach to comedy. You know that we all have our favorite comedians. Some people like storytellers. Some people like the rapid fire joke telling. I like all of it. Yeah. If it's funny, it's funny. But a lot of times the people who are doing the more relatable material they cast a wider net, they have a broader audience, and it does translate well from city to city, town to town, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's necessarily just attempting to be broader. I think it's because I still do some. So I think I try to do a little bit of all of it, from impressions to which I haven't into recent months actually started back doing them. I can do some really well, but just don't do them. So
what's one of your favorite impressions to do?
Cat Williams, just because I've done that one for so many. Have you ever heard me do it?
Oh, I haven't heard you do it. That dude is wild.
Yeah,
that dude he's funny. He's funny, but I don't know that I could hang out with him for a long period of time.
Whatever do you mean by that?
I think he's a little much.
Look, sir, let me tell you. I can't do it.
I'm too reasonable. You know what I mean? Like a dude like that, he's wide open all the time. I don't do well with those kind of people. I reach a limit. I'm like, I'm going home. I'm going home. I gotta go to bed. I gotta work in the morning.
I can only imagine. There's a lot of times I wonder if some of the things he does is just for the camera, or what is he actually like? Because a lot of times you meet comics, especially if you're on the road, you'll see them on stage, and I think I'm that way too. I'm a lot different on stage than I am in person, just because I'm pretty chill. But then I have to, the inner me that comes out that says all the ratchet, fucked up shit. And then I'm still a people person in this. I don't like people, but I'm still a people person. I love people, but I don't like them. So
I think most of us, like, I came up in the service industry. Yeah. And when your job is to deal with people, you develop a love for it. Like I did early on. I developed a love for being social and interacting with people. There's like a certain amount of time that will pass. And for me, it was like in my late 20s, early 30s. I've already been in it for almost 15 years. And you start to get tired of people's bullshit, for lack of a better term. And you do kind of start to hate people. I mean, I'm the same way. I love people. I just hate the way people act sometimes. I think it's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
Especially when they're out like at a restaurant or at a bar. Because when you're in the service industry, that's your job, is to serve people. And, that whole customer is always right mantra, sometimes that's not right. I will never forget this one time I'm waiting tables, and there's this family that comes in, and there's two kids, two parents. And the kids had to have been between like 8 and 12, Yeah. These kids were the worst behaved kids I've ever seen. And like this kid is like, he's ordering me around like a slave. He's like, get me this, and he's like aggressive about it. He's like 10. And at one point I'm trying to take care of these people, and the kid says some weird mean shit to me, and I looked at his dad. I just looked at dad right in the eye. And as soon as I looked him in the eye, he did this. He put his head down and just sat there. And I kind of gave him that look like, are you going to discipline your child? And he just put his head down. I was like, oh my God, this kid's going to be a serial killer. Like he's got no direction. And it's stuff like that, like the observations that you make in this business. I mean, that's what you do. You work with people. You make a lot of your job is making observations and making them funny. That's. I wish I had that skill. If I could make that shit funny, I'd be doing the same thing you do.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I don't know if I'm doing this right. So
I don't know. I've seen you perform. You're a pretty funny guy. I think you're doing all right. Do you get the like when you meet people out in public, when you're not at a comedy, at a performing?
Yeah.
Do you tell people I'm a stand-up comedian? Like
now I do, just because I'm promoting everything. Everything becomes a tax write-off. So
ain't that the truth?
What every trip I take is I'm at the gas station. I gotta check that mileage off, man. So the tax lady that's watching this, I'll let you know the mileage that's all counted for. That's pretty much what I do, man.
It is like once you do start working for yourself, it does become a 24/7 thing. Like it's hard not to think about, because until I don't know what it's like to reach that level of comfort or wealth where you're not worried about the next mortgage payment. So I guess if we ever get to that point, I'll have a different perspective. But as for now, every person I meet is a potential customer that will come.
Well,
right?
you could do that. I mean, I got rid of my mortgage. I had a fun fact about me. I was a full-time RVer. So I sold my house May 2019. Me, the wife, and at the time it was just 2 kids. But a month after we sold the house, we got pregnant. So yeah, but that's how we got rid of our mortgage. So you can get rid of your mortgage. You just got to live in a box truck.
Now, do you take the RV to your shows out of state?
I used to. Now the gas is too much. Now I'm back driving again. So it's hey, you live and you learn. But we used to be on the road, like going back and forth from just everywhere on it. So it was cool because you camp anywhere. It's just I've stayed at the club, and matter of fact, I was just in Greensboro like a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, and when I went there, and the owner was like, "Hey Ray, what's up?" I just was like, "Man, I just stayed in your parking lot the last time I was in." Like, you can't forget me. I used your water hose. Like, I know there's not a lot of comics coming at, "Hey, can I borrow your water hose?" Like, no one.
I was gonna say, are there other comics that do that have done that have completely pushed the chips in? And it's like, fuck it, I'm buying an RV and this is what we're doing.
I think there may have been some. I don't know if any that did with their family. So
it gives you a whole new.
Family.
Well, it gives you a whole new perspective, because a lot of comedians will get up and talk about the travel aspect of their job, and a lot of it's air travel. You've got a whole other. There's got to be like this plethora of material about RVing around for gigs.
Yeah, man. Look, so because my family's going to roll with me too, so I'm not like most comedy travel by themselves. My family generally comes with me on the road, so they take the beating too. So we know.
Well, I think it's awesome that your family's that supportive. I mean, you have a wife that's 100% behind you, and I'm assuming you guys made this decision together.
Yeah, I guess. Nah. This is a thing, especially with doing this and selling the house and doing the RV thing. It was we talked it over. We looked into it. You kind of prepare for everything, but nobody can prepare for a pandemic. So
yeah,
we had things laid out. We were going to be in the RV for this length of time, but then the pandemic hit. So it was like, all right,
I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, I guess we're doing this for a while now. But it actually it made doing it during right before the pandemic. Actually, to me, I wouldn't change anything, because I got a chance to travel during the pandemic, because
everyone else was locked up.
Well, everybody else was locked up. I can go back and forth to my family, like my parents' house, which I got to see them more than I really did in my adult life, and then try to visit my sisters and stuff out of state, because we didn't really have to get out anywhere. The kids didn't have to get out anywhere, so they were.
One of the things I'm finding since I started this whole thing, because the whole podcast started because of the pandemic. It threw a monkey wrench in my plan to get this place open, and I'd already started to build somewhat of a following. And I was like, well, I can't just let this die on the vine. How do I keep it going? And that hence the podcast. And since I started this show, since I started this whole journey, I've gotten to meet a lot of different types of artists that do different types of things, and I love how many people. The pandemic, as shitty as that whole situation was, the one like big, huge silver lining is that so many people woke up and realized I have complete control of what happens to me. I have complete control of my future, my livelihood, and now there's this. And I said it early on in the pandemic. Go back and listen. I said it early on. I said there's going to be this explosion of creativity, this explosion of self-made wealth and that kind and entrepreneurship, and that's exactly what happened. People got locked down, and I think that without getting into the politics of it all, I think that the powers that be thought that this was going to be a way to put more control on people, but it had the exact opposite effect. In fact, it put people into a place. You put humans in a corner, we're going to figure shit out. There's a reason we're at the top of the food chain. You know what I'm saying? We invented fire. We invented the wheel. We invented, HVAC. Like we've made comforts for life. And when you put human beings in a seemingly hopeless situation, they find ways. Ingenuity. What is the saying? Necessity is the mother of all invention, right? Yeah. People sitting around can't leave their house. They got to figure out a way to be happy. And my God, I'm so happy that it happened because now there's all these people that are artists. They've started businesses. And, pandemic, don't want to say it's the best thing that's ever happened to us as a species, because it's not, but it certainly was one of the best things that ever happened to the entrepreneur spirit in this day and age.
So like you say, being backed in the core necessity and having that was the biggest thing for my wife and I when we were looking at buying the RV and doing the full-time RV thing. We were literally working for the mortgage.
Yeah.
And
that's what they want.
Yeah, so that was the thing. We didn't want to spend most of our days. So before the pandemic, it was all right, I'll be at work, driving to work. I was uptown Charlotte. I'd work in, it takes an hour plus to get to the office just for a 20-minute drive to Charlotte. So an hour for a trap, then 8 hours a day, and then another hour back. And then generally from there, it would really depend on the day. I'd be going to open mic, something, working on material. So I wouldn't really see my family until, late hours of the night.
You're in this cycle of it's like a hamster wheel. It's like you got to do this, and this, and I'll be honest, as scary and as nerve-wracking as it is at times, the unpredictability of my life now is one of my favorite things about it. Yes, it is very stressful, figuring out how to keep this place going, how to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
But at the same sense, before this, with my previous business, it was the same thing every day. Just the same thing every day, and that's so boring.
So this is a question for you. So if the predictability of your last time, you're cool with it. Is your family cool with being on?
Yeah, my wife has been nothing but supportive throughout this. I mean, absolute 100%. I mean, it hasn't been easy. There've been moments of doubt. There's been moments where the stress builds to a boiling point. Her and I have a respect for each other that I've never had before with anybody. I love you, babe. C-Dub. She's the shit, man. We
haven't watched this episode.
She doesn't watch the podcast. She doesn't care.
She gonna watch
that. But early on, her and I had when we first started dating, we had all these conversations about having respect for one another, and we've never done the name calling thing. I've never called her a bitch. I've never we know all of each other's past and secrets. We don't throw
a good one.
Yeah, exactly. We don't we don't throw our past in each other's face. Anything. We don't do any of that. We have been upset with each other in the past, and usually what we do is we kind of go into our corners and think it through before we have a conversation. We don't talk to each other when we're pissed off. We just, I don't know. We have that thing that makes it work, and I look around and a lot of
you need to do a couple seminars.
No, don't anyone try to be like me. This was a hard road. I don't recommend it. Learning things the hard way gives you a deeper understanding of people. But I mean, I'm just absolutely grateful that my family's been behind me 100%. You don't. Freedom. That's what we're trying to get, right? We're chasing freedom.
Yeah.
The American dream, whatever you want to phrase it as, and the freedom to not know what's going to happen next is way more exciting than pencil pushing 40 hours a week, and some people thrive on that structure. Like again, I'm not trying to be anyone's example. I'm just a different type of person. There's certain people that are made to do that, and they're good at it, and it makes them happy, and they get to take their 1 or 2 week vacation every year, and they go golfing, and they.
So now that may be true, but then it may have been like the pandemic. I was just as much into banking at one point as I am stand up. So I don't know if it's maybe having the time to realize it. That all right, this is not what I want to do, because if they are a pencil pusher, maybe if given where they couldn't do it anymore, they would really enjoy something else. So
you're right. I think that a lot of people, if given the opportunity to, or if someone in their life inspired them, but it takes. I don't. There's no way to say this without coming off like kind of an asshole, but
we here for the asshole.
It takes an immense amount of courage. It takes an immense amount of courage to pull the trigger on something like this, entertainment or entrepreneurship. It takes balls, and some people handle stress better than others.
Y'all hear that? I got balls. Hey, man.
That's good.
I appreciate that, man. Look,
You have very big balls, Ray, buddy.
I guess
That's
so.
going to end up on a reel. Ron's going to cut that out for sure.
Just hand it to E65.
But
This is the first time I had another man discuss my balls. And you're going to edit it up. So you're going to have to listen to it a few times.
we're getting so many nuggets out of
Raise
this.
big balls. No, rewind that back.
You need to start cut. That needs to be the song you walk out to on stage from now on. AC/DC's Big Balls.
I don't know if I heard that. Wait.
Oh, we'll play it for you after the show. It's a good one. I used to sing at karaoke back in the day.
Are you a karaoke singer?
I can't sing. I would always do songs that you don't have to have a real voice to do. Like my go-to was Gin and Juice. That was like
you cheating.
that song would get the party started, man. I'd go into these bars and be a bunch of people. They'd call me up. I'd start doing gin and juice. You could see the energy in the room rise. And people were like, "Oh shit, what's he doing?" But Big Balls was another one I'd like to do. I do jump around from time to time.
I got you.
Old school shit. I can't sing. I wish I could.
Yeah,
If I could sing, I would be singing for a living.
Music man, you can sing?
Yeah, I can sing pretty good, I think.
Okay.
Not to boast too much. But
I usually ask people with
I ain't too shabby.
sound equipment if they can sing. You sing?
I can't sing for shit.
Oh, okay. You look like Luke
He's
Combs
lying.
over there.
He's lying. BDJ's a performer. He's lying.
Yeah, you are. I think
I've been paid a couple times.
you've been paid a couple times.
But see, that's what we're all about, right? Celebrating talent.
Yeah.
Rip it back in. A lot of people have a talent they don't even realize. You just try something new. I think a lot of the fear keeps a lot of people from doing a lot of things. What if I suck? Well, what if you suck? Is a couple moments of shame, really going to stop you from following through with something that makes you happy? And that's I guess that's my question to anybody that's sitting at home thinking about doing something different. You're not happy. If you're happy, great. If you're happy, be happy. Like, I'm happy for you that you're happy. But if you're not, if you're sitting at home, if you're watching this, pushing a pencil, thinking that there's something else you'd rather be doing, at least try it. We do open mic every Wednesday at 7:00.
He did a perfect plug. Like it was right there.
Building up to it. He knew it was coming.
Hey, man, they got a dope open mic too, man. I've come a couple times, man, a chance to watch, and I actually went up on and performed once here. But man, I love this place, man. I hope we have a nice run at this, man.
I think we will. I mean, even last week at the comedy show, at the end of the show, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, how long can this last before I can't afford them anymore? Because I know, I mean, you've pushed all your chips in and you're doing the thing, and I know that at some point there will come a time where this won't be worth your time. You'll be getting paid to play theaters or play bigger rooms, and hopefully by then there will be somebody else in town that's ready to take that up. But while you're here, first of all, if I haven't said it yet, I really appreciate you taking a chance on us, bringing a show here like that. I wanted to do stand-up comedy from day one, and my biggest fear was trying to put together a stand-up show and it turning into like a local open mic with a bunch of people that aren't that funny, and because I've seen that happen around here before, and I wanted it to be a real comedy show, and you were a godsend for us. Like answering my text, coming and talking to me, it gave us the opportunity to do something I really wanted to do in a way that I really wanted to do it, and so I'm grateful. I'm going to forever be grateful for that.
Man, well, I am also as gracious as you, man. I think that's maybe one of the biggest, I guess, misconception in comedy is that, like, they say people outgrow the space, but I think no matter the size of space, you need the quality space.
Yeah.
So when you have a space like here that cultivates art and understand that there takes time for things to grow, also for the ability for freedom within the space to say, all right, you can do this, and there's not like any allow an artist to be an artist without telling them what colors to draw with.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing that made it such an advantage in meeting you. It's like, yo, man, this guy sent just as well as you, as someone that actually understands the art, because what I feel like, and comedy is definitely an art form. Because I hear a lot of comics, especially a lot of young comics, oh man, I'm funnier than that guy or that, and
that's a matter of perception, though. That's kind of a silly thing to say.
It is very much so, but I can't even say that for just young comics, but there's older comics too. But I realized over time and working with so many different comics from every background and race and religion that it's music. Everybody has it's just the way, and even when I'm on stage, there's a rhythm to it. So the music of comedy is, sometimes you like slow music, sometimes you like rock fast, sometimes you like hip hop or Snoop Dogg. So it's I'm the same way. So people kind of stereotype and think at times just hip hop or rap, or like I'll listen to Luke Combs or Adele or something like this. I listen to everything. So it makes me as a comic on stage diverse, and I give that energy at times. So if I'm mad on stage,
well, let me ask you this. Do you have a different show when it's an all black room than you do when it's an all white room?
Not really, not for me, because my jokes they're pretty much human. I may control the audience differently. So because they're rowdy. I can't even say that. That's just because I can say even some of the white rooms, they're rowdy too. So it just really depends on the room will determine how I handle them. So
you're feeding. It's less about the demographic, more about the energy in the room.
That's exactly what it is. Because the audience has a voice themselves. The same way their laugh comes out generally in unison. Generally, when I'm laughing, it'll laugh at one. I know when the laugh's going to come, almost on the snap of a finger. Even if I do a joke and it doesn't get the laugh, I've built in where I'm like, all right, I'll do the whole joke to not get the laugh, and I'll do the tag, of which I'll add an extra piece, and I'll get the laugh. So, but the audience as a whole has their own voice. They have their own culture in the audience.
Yeah.
So you could tell, like, when generally some of the openers, they'll go up and you can say, like, okay, they didn't like that joke or that joke.
So you're getting an idea of the energy in the room before you even get on stage, just by how an opener's doing and how their jokes are being received.
Exactly. So that's one thing as a headliner. I can go comments going before me. I don't know what they're doing if I'm going to different cities. I don't know what they're going to do. So they can have some similar type jokes within there, or topic jokes. So I have to be prepared for that. And then if I'm Like if I'm doing a college, I do the college shows. I do solo shows, so I have no clue. There's no one.
So these university shows, there's no other comics. It's just you.
It's just me. I bring a full show. So
How long is the show? Is it 30, 45?
I do an hour.
You do an hour?
Yep. So
That's intimidating to me, especially right now in 2023, going to these colleges and universities. At least all the things that I've heard and seen and read and watched about the way the culture is in college right now. You know, they'll run you right out of a room. You say one word the wrong way.
nah, I totally disagree. I think it's probably the companies you're hearing it from. So a lot of this is what happens when you have comments. They were a shitty crowd, or man. The only difference is in most of these college rooms that I've seen, I've done from. Let's see. I don't know if I can say these names on here, so. But,
Yeah, let's not name drop
but-
anybody. You
but-
can say a geographic region if you want to do that.
Yeah, like we'll do like I just did 2 colleges last week in Buffalo, Niagara Falls area. I've got a bigger school in Pennsylvania that I'm doing actually this upcoming week. But you'll see, just depends on where you at, like you say, geographically. So I can see how the sensitivities would change depending on, like, if you go south, it'd be more religious based stuff that would be sensitive levels. If you go up north, but I honestly think that even with that it's really more so the comics. I mean, because you're controlling the whole show. Now, if they bring, I don't know what they're doing on their shows. I bring my whole show. It's just me, so it's all on me. I don't have anyone to.
Now, doing college gigs solo, is that what they want? Like, or because I'm assuming you've got some guys you like to go on the road with from time to time.
Yes.
Right?
So I'll take guys out to club gigs, just because it's whatever. I don't have to worry about what they're saying. If it's,
Are most club owners like easy to deal with?
yeah, the ones I do, the Comedy Zone is my club that I do most.
Your home club.
That's my home club here, but they also have clubs across the country,
Right.
so, and the Bahamas. So I generally work through their network of clubs. So
Have you ever done the cruise ship thing?
no, I have not. I've been asked to do Carnival, but all the details and the scheduling hasn't worked out yet. So we perhaps this year. I ain't gonna knock on whatever it is behind.
Knock on green screen.
But yeah, so they
I'd like you to come back and talk to me about your experience on the cruise ship if you decide to do that. 'Cause I've met a couple of people that were performers on cruise ships, and from what I've heard, the money is like just enough to like keep you coming back, but it's a shitty life. Being stuck on a ship for 2 weeks at a time, over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's kind of like I wouldn't want to stay on a cruise ship or even the college. I love the colleges and doing
Imagine
the
being the
college.
comedian that was stuck on them cruise ships right when COVID started.
Oh man, I'm straight.
I bet they got a gang of material out of that though.
Well, I mean, if they want to use it, because that's the problem. If you've been on a cruise that long, you're pretty much probably not doing anywhere else because you've been consistent on there, and then now you don't want to do them. Now you got to get back into the clubs.
You start telling jokes about, you start telling jokes about whales and sharks and seahorses. That's when it's time to give up the cruise ships.
I don't know, man. But that's the thing. It should theoretically make you stronger because you have so many the constant change of people from across the world.
That's a good point.
So and you're probably performing more frequently because you're doing it probably 2-3 times a day, as opposed to you should theoretically get a lot stronger, a lot faster as a comic. But I mean, if you get into I know for me, I intentionally put myself through some bullshit shows coming up in the comedy game. So I've performed in the rain. I would always, at the open mics, especially we used to have them years ago at the Comedy Zone or at other open mics, hey, yo, put me up last. And the reason I wanted to go last, because after you sat through 15 shitty comics or comics that have done really well, the audience is tired now. I don't want to hear anybody. But if I can
If you can make them guys laugh at the end of the night, you're doing that's I like that.
It's boot camp. That's what it is. So there was not really anything so I started putting, like I've pulled the RV out on 4th of July, plugged my own speakers up, Actually, right here in Gastonia, there's a past the QT. There's a like a little field where we would go watch the fireworks on 4th of July.
Yeah.
Pulled the speakers out. Just did the cars pulled up. Some
Gotta be
people
careful
pulled up.
around them QTs, man. Once the sun goes down around them QTs, you gotta watch out.
Hey man, I be traveling the world, man. I ain't worried about nothing, man.
Let me know if you ever get to do a show outside of a Wawa.
Outside of look, I'll do a show anywhere at this point. It really doesn't matter to me. But generally, I like it for the audience to have the best experience. But you know, I'm low maintenance, so it is. After doing it for so long, and I got one of my first shows, like when the first or second year I was in comedy, there was we had a festival in Charlotte. Like it was just a bunch of mics. They were set up across town. We were just doing like a 3-day, almost like a little comedy festival.
That's cool.
But it wasn't put together as well as it probably should have been at the time. It was, one of the places was on the back of a little taco spot, and it was outside. And every time, apparently, it was motorcycle night.
Oh boy!
Every time you get up, man,
That gotta be annoying as shit.
look, this is the mic right here, but the whole mic was this long, so it was a little box about this big, and the cord was this long, so you had to stand like this and tell a joke. I was like, I think this is where I'm supposed to be right here. This is what I'm supposed to be telling jokes off a little mic like this the rest of my life. So.
I love your attitude and your perspective, and I like your grind, man. I respect your grind. I like that you're doing the damn thing, and I respect the hell out of that, and I love it, man.
Thank you, man.
I love it. Before we wrap things up, I want to give you an opportunity to tell people where they can find you, and if you've got any shows coming up in this area, tell them where to go.
Yeah, you can find me every fourth Thursday right here at the Rooster, 7:30. We do it February 23rd is the next show that's coming up right here at the Rooster.
Who you got coming with us this month?
Huh?
Who's coming this month?
We have Gary Funk Fields, man. This guy's out of I've actually never seen this guy perform live before. He came as a total referral from one of I call my OGs. So I generally will take a referral from someone. We'll see how it turns out. So, but then also I have.
So if he's not funny, it's not your fault.
Hey man, we're gonna make it happen either way. I've never seen him before.
I went and followed his Instagram when you sent me the flyer. He's good. He'll be funny.
So this is but no, generally if I haven't seen anyone, this is the first time I ever booked anybody that, and I've produced some shows that I've booked anybody that I've never seen before in any capacity. So, you know, what I'll do is, I'm sure he's gonna be funny because he came as a referral, and I trust the referrals give him. But I also have one of my comic friends that has actually been on quite a few shows with me, and actually one of the guys here, I think I called him, was it Manslaughter? I think it was my man named the DJ that was here at the time.
Was it Manslaughter?
Pete.
Oh, we called him Manslaughter. Yeah.
But anyway, we got Jason Allen King that's coming. Jason Allen King, he's a monster in the game, man. Especially around the Charlotte scene and across the country. We both toured the country, man, and he's hilarious, man. So he's actually got I think top 10 on dry bar specials right now.
I was actually already following him on Instagram, so when I saw that on the flyer, I was like, all right, this dude's funny.
That's my man. So I've worked with Jason quite a few things. He was on one of my specials. I never put it out, but I've worked with quite a bit over the years. So and he's a guaranteed. He's gonna make it happen out here.
It'll be a funny show, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Get those tickets in advance. We almost sold out our very first show. We have limited availability because we bring in tables and chairs. It lowers the amount of tickets we could sell. So it's a more intimate show. I think sometimes those smaller intimate shows are way better, especially in comedy. When you get into like the big arenas, I've seen like Louis C.K. in an arena.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to hear.
Yeah, it's much different.
There's an echo in the room. You're looking at a screen. He's a little tiny figure on stage. When you're in a small room like this, once a comedian gets going and gets the room laughing, the room just fills with laughter, and it just makes the show that much better energy. It's more funnier.
Yeah, look, if you never and even the comments that were here last, Joy and Todd will let you know this is as close as without. Michael didn't have to do anything to adjust, other than move the tables around, but we can make it and bring in some quality talent to make this as close as a comedy club as possible. So if you've never been to a comedy club or a comedy show, period, this is your great place to start, so you'll know where the standard is when you go out. You're like, oh man, this is definitely not like what they had at the Rooster. So this is probably going to be the best place for comedy in and around the area.
Oh,
that I
man,
know,
thank you
man.
for saying that.
So,
I appreciate that.
yeah, man, we're going to bring some amazing talent through here. There's so many comics that have hit me up that want to come through here already.
Hey, maybe we need to start doing it more often.
Hey, well, if you guys if they buying tickets, then we gonna do it every.
Yeah. So go ahead and get those tickets. You can get them on our website now on the events tab at theroostergasoline.com. Again, limited availability, so get those tickets now. The tables are first come, first serve. So, if there's just two of you might have to sit with another couple, but that's always worked out well for my wife and I when we go to shows. And then we're going to keep doing it on the fourth Thursday of every month. Are there any other upcoming shows in the Charlotte area they should know about?
Ooh, not in Charlotte, so.
All right. Well, I'm gonna rattle off a few dates we have coming up. Next Thursday is February 16th. We have an open blues jam. Bring your instrument. All types of blues are welcome. It's hosted by David Fry and Mark Baumgardner. They're going to backline, so come and sing the blues with us on the 16th. Friday, the 17th of February, we have the Brent Cates duo and Garrett Huffman opening. Garrett Huffman was recently signed. That kid's going to be a star, so come see him before he's too famous to come back here and play. Comedy night's the 23rd. The very next night, on the 24th, we're having an EP release party for Dove Cage. Dove Cage was recently here and opened a show. They toured up here, and now we're going to celebrate their new album on the 24th. The Dancing Fleas are coming on Friday, March 3rd. That is a ukulele party band. I cannot wait for this show. They've got like 6 ukulele players, and they take like top 40 stuff and do it on ukulele in a fun way. That's going to be a fun show. And then on March the 10th, we have Idlewild South. That is an Allman Brothers tribute band. That's another one you're going to want to get tickets in advance for because it will sell out. We got a whole lot more stuff coming. Just go to the website, follow us on social media. Follow comedian Ray Money on Instagram and Facebook. His production company is called Signature Laugh Entertainment. You can follow them as well. And keep up with Ray, see where he's playing. If you're watching this in another state, go check out his stuff to find out when he's coming to make you laugh. Anything you want to leave our people with?
Yeah, you can actually find everything Comedian Ray Money at comedianraymoney.com.
It's comedianraymoney.com. It's at Comedian Ray Money on Instagram. Check him out. And then I will leave you guys with one thing. I have a major show announcement coming very soon. I'm waiting on the person putting that show together to put the promo video out. But go ahead and save the date for April 7th. We're going to have a pretty wild night that night. I believe that's it. Ray, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate your time. Appreciate the show, and I can't wait for the next one on the 23rd.
Man, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Peace and love.